Welcome to another video, you guys. I'm sorry about the delay on this one. I know I had to give you a weekly update on this as promised, but I was not able to make the video essentially because I was not well. I'm still not completely well, but here we go. I've done the research, I've gotten the content for you, and I'm giving you the updates, the biggest updates of the last week and what is expected in the future. What kind of slot openings can you expect for almost any visa type for the US visas. But before we actually begin, make sure to follow me on Instagram because a lot of times when the slots open up, I update you guys directly over there so that you guys can actually go ahead and book your slots as well. Now, again, can take a little bit of time because we also have to book these slots for some clients, but I usually try to update you guys. And apart from that, let's actually tell you the biggest updates for this week. So number one, student visas actually have some of the biggest updates from the consulates. It's been officially released that more student visa appointments will be opening up in this summer. And in the last 1 week also, we have seen very few, I would say, openings sometimes that happen with a couple hundred slots. Now, a lot of times these slots get booked, a lot of times these slots give errors, but at the same point in time, a lot of times we are seeing that consulates are trying to release slots on a smaller number basis. They're not releasing all of them at once so that students can actually wait and get their I-20s or their DS-2019s, whatever visa type they're going for essentially, right? And once they actually have those, that's essentially when you can expect a much bigger opening. Now, this is actually a problem for people who have their programs starting in June or July, because for the most part what we anticipate is that the bigger openings will be happening towards the end of June mostly, and hence it is very important for such cases that 24/7 monitoring is continuously done. As you can understand, it is critical in such cases, and even getting a July appointment can be used to book an emergency appointment for most cases. And sometimes June appointments are being released, but they're very small in number, so a lot of times errors come up, etc., etc. But you have to be actively monitoring. Within 3, 4, 5 times sometime your slot will be booked for the most part. Of course, that's not to say that if there's a bigger opening, in that case within the first go itself the slot gets booked, but you have to be very active and monitor 24/7. And if that's something that you cannot do by yourself, connect with me on my number, which is present in the description. I'll be able to help you. We can actually take a look at the visa application help service right over here, and we'll cover everything right from basically the slot booking to getting the visa stamped. All of that is covered. Until you get it, we continue to work on your case, no extra charges. So that's generally how it works for 24/7 monitoring. And given the amount of people that we have to put on it, I would say that even if you're doing it by yourself, you would probably want to create a group with your friends so that you can actually monitor, because if you do it with one account, you will get banned for the next 72 hours. Apart from that, there's one thing that I noticed, that the consulates have been mentioning the emergency appointments. They've been saying that, look, if you file for emergency, students will get these requests approved, but unfortunately no placeholders are actually being opened for the most part. So this option, while they are presenting it, it seems kind of futile for the most part. Moving forward to the other visa types, now there's the H-1Bs, H-4s, L-1, L-2, all these visa types which are essentially work-based visa types, right? Most of you guys, Dropbox slots you would be struggling with, I understand, because currently the slots are opened for the 2023 year, which basically means that they are more or less useless to you guys. Now, we have previously booked a lot of 2022 appointments for September, October, even November for the last 2 or 3 weeks. But after that big opening, there has been no major opening. 1 or 2 slots here and there may be released sometimes, but the bigger openings are simply not happening. We do anticipate that more 2022 appointments can open up somewhere in August, but that's not to say that they cannot open before that. There can be a couple hundred slots opened up at some of the consulates. Again, for that, you have to monitor 24/7. There's really no way of knowing that apart from that. And remember, if you actually monitor and you start early, you actually go to the slots early and you see, okay, they open in front of you, right? You can actually book them for the most part. But if you are a little bit late, they'll start throwing errors. That means that too many people know about them and everyone's trying to book them, and it's going to throw errors in that case. Regardless, the bigger openings, the dates for which they will be opening, those dates are expected to be September, October, November for the most part. Earlier than that, you can expect smaller openings, just 3, 4 slots sometimes, but nothing bigger than that for the most part. This is all official information. We're not actually giving you information that is guesswork. This is based on the actual press releases that happen in the US consulates. And essentially that's why, like I said, 24/7 monitoring has to be continued, very important. And if you're doing it, you may actually end up with some slots. Finally, coming on to the B1, B2 slot scenario. All right, we're actually going to talk about that for first timers who are basically applying for the first time. Getting appointments right now is very difficult because in the last 1 week, we have not seen any openings. However, appointments for 2023 are actually open. So you can potentially use these appointments and use them as placeholders, and you can actually request for emergency appointments, which means you can try to reschedule an appointment for June or July as well. In some cases, it has worked for some of our clients as well, but very rarely does it work in every single case, because not everyone basically qualifies for it. Okay, for the case that it worked for us, I would say, was the one where the client actually had to go for a very important conference. It was a big conference, pretty renowned, right? And potentially that's why they may have approved it. Similar cases, 2 or 3 we actually got approvals for, but generally not for things like weddings, or things like meeting people, meeting their parents, meeting grandparents, even sometimes for medical issues, right? Unless of course there's a genuine medical reason, sometimes you can see that requests will get rejected. And that's potentially why I would say that 24/7 monitoring for B1, B2 is very important as well. Sometimes you may see, very rarely, but you may see 1 or 2 slots, max to max 1 or 2 slots opened up, but that's very rare. And the consulates actually did cancel all the placeholders previously, and they opened November, October slots, September, October, November for the most part, but after that only 2023 appointments have been opened. So generally no 2022 major appointments have been released since then. I understand the news is not good for B1, B2 visas, but we will be continuing to update you on the channel, so make sure that you subscribe with us. And until next time, I'm going to be signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video. Goodbye and take care.